get my hands on that game.
You mean you haven't played it yet?
me said. About to get started soon.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get started and talk about Emio. So, let's see. Where should I even start? So as you guys know, it kind of started with Nintendo of America making their initial post about Emio. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter real quick. Let's see, at Nintendo. Oops. I can't spell today. At Nintendo America. And then hashtag Emio. Alright, let me see if I can find this tweet. I can't find the original tweet from Nintendo of America. Let me try something else. Is that it though? No, that's not it. I can't find the original tweet. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can share my screen with y'all. Let's see. How do I share my screen with y'all? It's been so long since I streamed, y'all. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm gonna see if I can show y'all real quick my Twitter. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to make another source. Let me see. Okay, window capture. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I just have to make another source. Alright, let me downsize it for y'all so y'all can really see. Alright, so Nintendo of America
You only have
this tweet.
Said. That Animal Crossing time and date is confusing me, haha.
My bad. So sorry. I just like to use it because it's such a cute little screen. My bad. Alright, so remember when Nintendo posted this? What was it? July 10th? They posted this video that was essentially like a man in a trench coat with the signature paper bag with the smiley on it. And everybody was speculating about, okay, what is this game? Like, what exactly is Nintendo showing us right now? Are they coming out with a new IP? Is the new IP a horror game? Like, there was so much speculation about excuse me. There was so much speculation about what Emio was supposed to be. And so, you know, everybody was doing all their speculation like normal. And then it turns out, let's see if I can find it. So it turns out that Emio was just a Famicom Detective Club game. So for those of y'all who are unfamiliar or y'all don't really be in those Nintendo streets like that, Famicom, I have such a hard time saying the name of this game for some reason. So Famicom Detective Club is a franchise that Nintendo did way back in the 80s. It's a graphic novel. Just like the name implies, it is based on people doing detective work to figure out like these mysteries, these unsolved murders and things like that. And so Emio is essentially the third installment of these games. And I remember back when we discovered what Emio was, people's hype was a little bit deflated. Like people were kind of hoping more of like a horror game in a 3D space where you're, you know, actually interacting with the world and like the way that, you know, a lot of people are accustomed to these days. You know, nobody really cared about the fact that this was just another Famicom Detective Club game. Everybody was mad about the form factor, the fact that it was a graphic novel. Like people were kind of deflated about that. Me on the other hand, and mind you, I don't play graphic novel games. I don't play, not graphic novel. I don't play visual novel games. I don't play point and click games. I don't play like super like, I guess like those super story narrative based games where there's like really no gameplay, kind of like a Life is Strange or things like that. Like I've dibbled and dabbled, you know, in certain types of games, but I've never been the kind of person who was like, you know, that's kind of like my wheelhouse. It's not normally my wheelhouse, but I was so intrigued by Nintendo's marketing for this game that I decided to purchase it. So I bought a Nintendo voucher, a Nintendo eShop voucher, for the Switch because there were some games that I was thinking about purchasing, and Emio was not on that list of games that I thought that I would purchase. But I ended up getting, I forgot what I got with my vouchers. I think I ended up getting Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then I ended up getting Emio. I was actually gonna save my my voucher for like a different game, but I ended up using my voucher to get Emio. So I say all that to say that I did finish Emio today. Oh, I did play the demo. So like not only did Nintendo's marketing pique my interest, I also played the demo when the demo came out, and the demo was so good it made me go ahead and like use my other voucher to get Emio the Smiling Man. So now we're here. I finished Emio the Smiling Man today, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but I do want to talk about this game. I'm gonna try to talk about it in a way that goes kind of like around what's actually happening in the game, but I will kind of give y'all like a synopsis of like what the game is. So let me go ahead and take this off here. So basically, Emio the Smiling Man is a I keep saying graphic novel. I'm in comic mode right now. My gosh, that's how good the story is. But anyway, so it is a visual novel about a series of murders that were committed by a man who is wearing a paper bag mask. So we're trying to identify who is the person behind that mask. So if you've played the demo, this is not a spoiler because I feel like this is like part of the synopsis on Nintendo's website, and it's also in the demo. So there were these series of murders that happened 18 years ago, and then there was another murder that happened in recent time that could possibly be linked to what happened 18 years ago. So you go through these series of events. You're the main character, one of the detectives on the case. You're going through these series of events. And then we finally get to who the culprit was and like how we got here and their backstory and things like that. So that's all that I'll say about the story. It's a really, really good story. But one thing that I will say about Emio is that it is creepy. Like the story is creepy. There are some moments where I straight up just like nearly dropped my controller because I'm just like, I don't have the temperament for this. And for those of you guys who have been following me for a long time, and for those of you guys who know me, y'all know that I am not a horror game girly. I don't do horror. I don't do creepy. like even in some instances, like Metroid is too creepy for me. So that kind of gives you an indication of what kind of person that I am. I am a coward, and I wear that badge very loudly because I don't want people out here thinking that I'm just like this tough, brave lady. I'm not. I am a coward. So there are some parts of Emio that genuinely creep me out. Like, it got to the point in Emio, like, where I was debating if I even wanted to finish the game because I was so creeped out about what happened previously. That being said, although Emio does have a lot of really creepy moments, the focus really is the narrative and the story. The way that this game is told, it allows you to, it doesn't just give you the story. Like, it allows you to go through a series of events. It allows you to go through the dialogue trees in such a way to where things are being revealed to you based on what you're asking, based on what you're doing. So it's like they really make you go through a series of steps in order to get to the next part, like the next bit of information. So for example, like I'm trying to see if I could think of an example. Like, there's a series of dialogue trees that you have to go through to get to where you're trying to go. It's not like, okay, we're at this stop, now let's go to the next stop. We talked to this person, let's go to the next person. Like, the gameplay is basically like going through those dialogue trees. Like, that is the engagement piece, I guess, outside of the story, that is like a big piece of the game. Like, for example, you might have a person who you're trying to get information from, and you kind of have to use like your observation skills to get information from them, because like maybe the person is shy, or maybe they're misremembering, or maybe it's just hard for them to type, to talk about it. So like there might be some times where you just have to like look at them, like analyze their face and like think about what they could be feeling based on like their proximity to this person, and then that might open up another branch of dialogue, and like that's kind of how you get to the meats of the story and move forward. And so I titled this stream what did I title the stream, child? I literally just did this and completely forgot what I titled the stream. So I titled the stream Emio the Smiling Man is, and I'm gonna say it is spectacular. This is a 10 out of 10. Like, I know that like visual novels don't really get the love that they deserve a lot of the time, but like the story in this game is like, it's so well written. Like, everything that you learn at the beginning of the game and through the game, it all comes together at the end. And then after you beat the game, there's some post game, which I'm not going to spoil, that further reinforces what you learned in like the game. So like everything literally comes full circle. There is no rock or stone that has gone unturned in the narrative. Like, this is a rock solid narrative from beginning to end. Like, the way that they tell the story, the way that they get that you're getting the information from the people that you interview, like the way that they give background to certain characters. I mean, like, everything is just rock solid, and it's engaging from beginning to end. Even like a coward like me was able to finish the game because the story itself was just so solid, and so it was just so good. Like, this game had me. And honestly, like, I was talking to my man about this. I don't think I would have played this game if it wasn't for the way that Nintendo marketed the game. Like, the way they marketed the game, like, first they showed you like this random clip that had nothing to do with anything, with the hashtag who is Emio, so like that already had me like, dang, I'm not a horror game girly, but like, who is that? That's a very, like, just the visualization of Emio in general is interesting because it's like, you know, sometimes we have like these whodunits, like these detective games. Like I don't want to like, you know, crap on those games. I've never played those games, but like this game really hooks you in because the imagery is just so different and it automatically sticks to you. Seeing a man in a trench coat with a paper bag on his head with this weird creepy smile on it, like that iconography just by itself is like, it sticks to you. And then, you know, they continued marketing it with, you know, telling you what it actually is. Okay, it's a Famicom Club, a Detective Club game. Okay, cool. And then you have, you know, Nintendo employees like Doug Bowser, you know, playing Emio on his Nintendo Switch in his office with a paper bag on his head with the Emio smile on it. It's like the way that they marketed this game was like chef kiss. And not only did they market it in such a very smart way, like the game itself pays all of it off, because none of that pays off if the game itself is not an actually good, intriguing game. And so I also said something on my Twitter when I shared this tweet out, and I said, you know, what could Emio the Smiling Man potentially mean for Nintendo going forward? So I understand that Nintendo, when you think about story in video games, like Nintendo is not the company that you think about when you think about story in video games. But this game series, like y'all know I'm a big Xenoblade girly. I love some Xenoblade. And one thing about Xenoblade, they go ham on the story. So like, I'm not a story girl like that, but I do love me a good story. You know what I mean? And I feel like when it comes to Nintendo, there's really only a handful of games that really focus on story. I would say to an extent, Zelda focuses on the story, but they do it in a passive way. You know, they don't really go full in with the story. I think the last time that the Legend of Zelda series like had a like legit story beat for beat story might have been Skyward Sword. Like I feel like that's the first time that they really just leaned in on the story. Like, of course, in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they kind of, you know, they give you some story, but the way that you pick up the story is passive. And for Nintendo, for the most part, unless we're talking about like Skyward Sword, Xenoblade, the Xenoblade series, like Nintendo, the way that they give you story is very passive. Because when you look at their other IPs, for example, like Metroid has deep lore, but the way that you access that lore is very passive. It's not in your face. You have to go look for it. You have to scan all the things. When you're talking about a game like Splatoon, like, yes, it's mostly like a multiplayer game. They do have a single player, but the focus is the multiplayer. Splatoon, believe it or not, has a lot of lore, but you gotta go looking for it. You gotta go looking for that lore. You remember when Splatoon 1 first came out and they did those lab notes type things on like their website, like lots of lore in Splatoon. And then if you play the single player, you get a lot of lore from Splatoon, but again, very passive. I would say that you kind of get some story in games like Pikmin when you're learning about the world of Pikmin and how it's basically like a how do you say? It's basically like the Pikmin games are basically like an allegory for what could happen if human beings don't take care of their earth and they overuse the resources of the earth without replenishing the resources. Like what happens? Like you have this desolate planet. We leave all of our little artifacts behind, basically like time capsules behind. Like that's kind of the way that Nintendo does story. Unless we're talking about Xenoblade, like I said, like I mentioned before, Xenoblade and Monolith Soft are like in a league of their own when it comes down to like storytelling under the Nintendo umbrella. But like a game like Emio, like if it catches on, I feel like a game like Emio could potentially become one of the franchises that we think about when we think about Nintendo. And then maybe even bleed over into other Nintendo games. So for those of you guys who don't know, the producer of the Metroid games. I forgot what his name is. Let me look it up. I think it's Sakamoto. Let me find it. Hold on.
Squiddens
Metroid
said,
series.
I fell off Xenoblade.
Producer. Yes, Yoshio Sakamoto. He is the person who, let's see. He is the person who, he directed several of the Metroid series games. He's now the producer of the Metroid series games. But he is also the person who is, I want to say he's the producer of Emio, the Smiling Man. Let me see what his relation to what's the name? The Family Club Detective games. I want to say he created them, but I don't want to give y'all misinformation. All right, so Famicom Detective Yoshio Sakamoto. So he let's see, Famicom Detective. I cannot say the name of these games to save my life. All right, so the first two games were the first writing projects for Yoshio Sakamoto, the same guy who was over the Metroid series and is now the producer of the Metroid series. And for the current game, let's see what's his involvement in the current game. Let's see. And you know what? I just beat this game and I was looking at the credits and I don't remember what his role was in this game. But I know that he was a big part of Emio and the Famicom Detective Club games coming back into the present day. Like, he's the reason why those Famicom Detective Club games, the first two ones, were remade again for the Nintendo Switch. Let me see. I don't want to play this video because I don't. Let's see. What is his role? Let's see. Yoshio Sakamoto, Famicom, Emio. Let's see what his role was for Emio. Because I know he created the first two. He had writing credits for the first two. I think he wrote the first two. But I don't really know what his role was for Emio. Let's see. Okay, so he wrote, wow, he wrote Emio. What? So he wrote the first two games. He also wrote Emio, and then he's also a producer on this game. And mind you, he's the same person who is now the producer of the Metroid games, and in the past was the director of those the Metroid games back in the day. Let's see. Metroid. So he was the chief director on Metroid Fusion. He was the director of Super Metroid, designer of Metroid, the first Metroid, and what else? I know I'm kind of bouncing around, y'all. He was the director of Other M. He was a producer, and he was over the story for Metroid Other M. Take that as you will. I know a lot of y'all don't like Other M. And what else did he do for Metroid? Because he's mostly known for Metroid. Special advisor of Metroid Prime Federation Force. I don't know what that means. Special advisor. He was the producer of Metroid Samus Returns on 3DS, which was amazing. And I don't see any other. He was a producer of Metroid Dread, which was amazing. So I say all of that to say, I'm not sure what his involvement is gonna be in Metroid Prime 4. I'm not sure, like, if he's just gonna be like another producer where he's just kind of overseeing everything, or if he's gonna have a hand in the story. But I say all of that to say, if Emio takes off, because you have somebody who's already a part of a prolific series for Nintendo, we might be seeing Nintendo maybe do a little bit more story. Maybe they'll lean in, or maybe they'll just do what they're doing now and keep making the games how they make them now. And games like Emio will just be like their story feel. I don't know, y'all. I'm not saying that I'm looking towards that. Like, I enjoy Metroid series for what it is. Like, I enjoy my Nintendo games for what they are. But I do know that there's a lot of people out there who are You just really want more story from Nintendo, and let me tell you, Emio is giving that. Emio is giving that. Like, I'm very impressed with what I just played. I don't know if any of you guys out there who have played it. I know you only have I known has played it. I don't know if you've played it, Squiddens, but if any of you guys out there have played it, please try not to give any spoilers. Like, what do you think about Emio? Like, did y'all like it? Did y'all not like it? Did it not meet your expectations? For me, personally, I feel like it exceeded my expectations. It exceeded my expectations. Like I knew the marketing was good, and I knew that I enjoyed that demo, but I had no idea that I would enjoy it as much as I do. Like, if people take this game seriously, like actually take it seriously, I think that this game could be a contender for some awards. Like, seriously be a contender for some awards. The narrative is like, I'm surprised that Nintendo, not Monolith Soft, who's not under the Monolith Soft umbrella, I'm surprised that Nintendo was able to give us a story this good. Like, I felt like I was watching a movie or like reading like a really good like detective book. It was so good. But I don't know, man. Now, I don't know because I'm such a coward. I don't know if I will be willing to go back and play the first two Famicom Detective Club games, because like, when I tell you that there were some parts of this game that really just made my heart like patter, and then there were some parts that made me want to drop my controller. Like,
I missed Emio. Maybe I'll play it.
There were some parts of this game that literally made me like gagged me. So I don't know if I have the heart to go back and play the others. I don't know what the future is going to look like for the Famicom Detective Club games. So I don't know. But I do know that I enjoyed this one. And to those of you guys who have a little bit more, a higher constitution than me, those of you guys who can stomach a little bit more, those of you guys who can handle a little bit more, maybe y'all should go ahead and try it out, and maybe even go back and play the other ones. And if they do continue with the series, like maybe play the ones coming in the future.
Squiddens said, this game is a sequel from a game 20 years ago.
Well, Squiddens, so Emio just came out like last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. This game is new. This is a completely brand new game. There are, however, 2 other games on the Nintendo eShop that are remakes of the original 2 games from 20 years ago. Emio is the newest one. So there are now 3 games in the series. And when I tell you it's a good time,
Squiddens,
I mean, depending on if
said,
you like the type of content.
Some people have been waiting 20 years. How sad.
Right. Some people have been waiting 20. Like, if you enjoyed this game, and remind you, the first 2 games only came out in Japan. The remakes that were made a couple of years ago of the first 2 games they're available worldwide. And Emio is now also, the newest one is also now available worldwide. So these are basically, especially those first 2 games, are basically new games for a lot of people. But I ain't going back to play them. I don't have the temperament. I just don't have it. I don't have it. But anyway, I didn't want to really hold y'all long. I just wanted to come over here on my stream and kind of like give y'all like my basic thoughts about the game. If you have $50 to spare, I highly recommend it. It's actually a pretty good bit of game there to play. My boyfriend said that he played, I think, 20 hours or something like that. I can't go back and look at my gameplay because my gameplay is on my secondary account and I don't have Nintendo Switch Online, so I can't go back and look at my save data and see how long or whatever. But like, I've been playing this game since, let's see, when did I first start? I first started this game. Let me see if I can see it on my profile. So I started playing this game 5 days ago, and I just finished
Shadow
it today.
Reaver
Like
Rising
I will play a little bit after
said,
work, you
"It's
know,
$50."
before bed. Yeah, it's $50. And if you have a Nintendo eShop voucher, and you're like, I don't know what to use my voucher for, that might be one. It's good, y'all. But I'm telling y'all, it's narrative. So if you're not one of those kind of people who's like super into narrative, you know, I guess I really can't recommend it to you. But if you like you a good story, if you like you a good whodunit, you like you a good mystery, you know, you like a little bit of creepiness to your games, a little creep factor, I would highly recommend it. It is a great story. And like I told y'all, like you have the game, and then the credits roll, and then there's like some after game. I feel
Reaver Rising
like the content in it.
Can you fail?
I don't regret my purchase. But to be fair, I also did use my voucher. I was going to say my voucher for Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and I used my voucher on this instead, and I don't regret it. Can you fail? No, not really. Like, there's no true game over. Like, there's like a little gag in the game I'm not going to spoil. But there's no true game over. It's like it's one of those kind of games where you can't move on until you discover the next piece of info. So you really have to make sure that your reading comprehension is on point. You really have to make sure that you are paying attention to what the person you're talking to is saying, because that's going to guide you to how to move along in the dialogue trees so that you can move forward with the story. That's what I'll say. Maybe one of these good days when more time has passed, I will be able to come on and talk to you guys actually about, you know, the details of the story and go into spoiler mode. But I really don't want to spoil it for you guys, because when I tell you this game is narrative, it is all narrative. You know, but I guess that's to be expected with a visual novel, you know. But yeah, this game sold me for sure. I'm glad that I went ahead and let my curiosity get the better of me and just went ahead and played it. And, you know, maybe, you know, I'm just a little biased. You know, y'all know I'm a little Nintendo fangirl a little bit. Y'all know that. So the fact that this is a game that is made by Nintendo, obviously that kind of added to my interest in the game, you know, on top of the marketing, on top of the content, on top of the demo. Here's what I'll say. If you don't know if you want to go ahead and pay that $50, there is a demo on the eShop of Emio the Smiling Man, and it is a hefty demo. You get to play the first three chapters for free. And I guarantee you, because this is what happened to me, my curiosity made me want to play the demo. So this is what happened to me. I played the demo. I played through all 3 chapters, and I needed to know, okay, so now what? I was like, you know what? I sat on it for a little bit. I sat on it for a few days. I didn't buy it immediately after the demo. I finished the demo. I sat on it for a little bit because, like I told y'all, I was going to save my voucher for Echoes of Wisdom, but I sat on it for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and play it, because I've played 3 chapters. I'm creeped out, but I've played 3 chapters, and now I need to know what happened. I gotta know. I have to know. But anyways, if that's all y'all have, that's all I have. Like I said, I really didn't want to hold y'all long. I just really wanted to come on and chop it up with you. Tell y'all that I was enjoying Emio, and that if you're interested, you know, give the demo a try, give the game a try. If you are the kind of person who thinks that Nintendo needs to lean into story, and you like story, definitely go try Emio. Anyways, that's it for me. Maybe I'll be streaming soon-ish. I'm almost done. Oh, before I go, let me tell y'all what I've been playing. So, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I recently beat The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening in preparation for Echoes of Wisdom. I'm almost done with Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. Almost done. Great game, by the way. I think I'm on like the last part of the game, so I'm literally almost done. I've also been playing a little bit of the Game Boy Advance emulator. I've been playing Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance emulator on Nintendo Switch Online. And of course, I've been playing Emio. So, I guess it's fair to say I've been enjoying my Nintendo Switch. Like, yeah, I'm waiting on the Switch too, like everybody else. But games like Emio, Paper Mario, Link's Awakening, NSO, some of the NSO games that I never got a chance to play back in the day. Echoes of Wisdom is coming up. Mario and Luigi Brothership is coming up. I'm okay. Now let me go on a tangent. It has nothing to do with Emio. I know I came here for Emio, but let me tell y'all this real quick before I leave. I'm enjoying my Nintendo Switch almost as much, if not as much as I did when it first came out and I was playing Breath of the Wild. I'm so impressed with the way that Nintendo is still supporting this system. Not only just supporting this system, but supporting this system with good games. Because y'all know sometimes at the end of a console's life, Nintendo and other companies are guilty of just kind of giving us like games that you can tell they didn't really put their heart and soul into. But you can tell that when Sakamoto and his team put Emio together, they cared about the narrative. They cared about what they were giving to the consumer. Because that storyline, like, it starts and it comes right back around full circle. Like, it is a solid story. I don't know what Echoes of Wisdom is going to be. Hopefully Echoes of Wisdom is the game that I need it to be. I'm still kind of on the fence with that game, but you know, I'm a Zelda stan, so I am getting that game. They showed some more information about Mario and Luigi Brothership, which actually sold me because I wasn't sure if I was going to get that game. But it feels like, to me, Nintendo is wrapping the Nintendo Switch's life up in a nice, pretty bow, and I'm along for the ride, y'all. But anyway, tell me how you feel, you know, in the comments. If you guys end up watching this archive live, you know, tell me what you feel.
What up, Nia?
Hey, what's up, Booger Sugar Ant? I'm actually getting ready to get up out of here. But thank you for showing up. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about Emio, how y'all feel about the state of the Nintendo Switch right now. And hopefully it ain't too much longer till I see y'all again. All right. Peace out, peoples.